Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Katarina. I film videos about project panning, cruelty-free and vegan beauty, and I'm just trying to enjoy my makeup collection. I am so excited about today's video. As you can see from the title, I will be starting the Those Eyeshadows project. I'm just going to do it a little bit differently than most people. Most people randomize the eyeshadows from their entire collection, or then they might randomize the palette but pick the eyeshadow they want to. The way I'm going to be doing this differently is that I do have a couple of palettes that I am going to randomize my shades from, because I don't want to overwhelm myself with eyeshadows that I'm panning right now. As you know, I'm working on pretty many eyeshadows already. I do have my painted palette, so my goal is to finish the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance this year. And I am also doing the Panning Solitaire Project Pan, that is the theme for Fantastic Ladies Painted Palette this year, so I'm also doing that. Pan those eyeshadows to that mix. It can be quite a lot. However, I really do want to work on these couple of palettes that I have picked. But before getting into the palettes, I just want to say that this project is created by Alexandra Sjösten. She is from Sweden. She does a lot of videos about project panning, and her eyeshadow looks are one of the most gorgeous ever. Her looks are at the same time really glam, but still they are like really inspiring and creative, and I don't know how she does that. So she's really amazing, and her channel will be linked down below. I don't think she's doing Pan those eyeshadows at the moment, but she is doing a painted palette. But Pan those eyeshadows is a really popular project right now, so if you just type Pan those eyeshadows into your YouTube search, you will have videos to watch for the rest of this year probably. This is such a popular project. So there is two palettes that I will be selecting my shades from, and I decided to go with two shades from each of these palettes, so it will be 4 eyeshadows in total. Both of these palettes are something that I do want to pan in future. To be honest, the Modern Renaissance eyeshadow palette I think is the last palette that I truly want to finish every single shade from the palette, because I'm just kind of like over of, you know, forcing myself to finish things that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of. Yes, I would love to eventually hit pan on every single eyeshadow in my collection. I think that would be fun and challenging. However, finishing shades that I'm not the biggest fan of, that is just, I have learned it the hard way, that is just like too much on the side of hate panning to me. But both of these palettes are something that I do want to make them my painted palettes. One of them next year, one of them probably the year after that. And I do want to finish at least some shades from these palettes and really focus on them. So the palette that I will make my next year's painted palette, I have already decided. This one is the BH Cosmetics Modern Matte Eyeshadow Palette. So this one is an eyeshadow palette that is all matte. It has 28 eyeshadows and it's half neutral, half colorful. So here you can see a closer look of this. As you can see, I have already hit pan on pretty many shades. It's 8 shades in total that I have hit pan on this palette. Next year that I'm going to pan this, my goal is to finish some of the more neutral shades and hopefully hit pan on all of the colorful shades. I hope I can do that, but I want to start working on this already this year. So from this palette I will randomize 2 eyeshadows, and I am going to set a rule with this palette, or the shades that I pull from this palette, that if I don't have pan on the eyeshadow after 15 uses, I can re-randomize, but using the eyeshadow for 15 times doesn't prevent me from selecting it again later, because as I said, I want to hit pan on every single eyeshadow in this palette. But it's just some of these colorful eyeshadows, I know that if I use them too many times, I will get sick of them, so I do want to allow myself a break if I don't have a pan on them after 15 uses. The another palette that I will pick to this project is my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I actually wrote this palette into my 30 by 30 project pan, so if you saw that intro of mine, you knew that this is coming. My goal is to hit pan on every single one of these eyeshadows by my 30th birthday. I have already hit pan on Marzipan and I will turn 30 in June 2022, so I do have almost 2 years time with this palette. That being said, this one is more densely packed formula. It will take way longer to hit pan on a two-faced eyeshadow than many other formulas like BH Cosmetics or Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I think it is a good time to start working on this. Plus, this is my oldest palette. This is now 5 years and I love this palette. I think it should also look way more loved. So that is another reason why I want to start working on this. I will also randomize 2 eyeshadows from this palette. And with this one I do have the rule that I need to use the eyeshadow for 30 times, and if I then don't have pan, I can roll it out if I want to. The reason why I want to set the number a little bit higher with this one than the BH Cosmetics one is the fact that in the BH Cosmetics palette there are some colorful shades that I know that 30 uses is going to be a stretch. But with this palette most of the shades are pretty neutral, so you know, it's safer to go with a higher number. Another special rule that I have for this palette this year is that I won't be working on the highlight shades, so White Chocolate and Champagne Truffle. Just because I am working on similar things already, or in fact I will be in the next update rolling into my Panning Solitaire a shade similar to White Chocolate that my goal is to completely use up. So this one I want to work on later. Then what comes to Champagne Truffle, I am working on similar color highlighter in my 30 by 30 project pan. In fact, I am wearing it today both on my cheeks and in my inner corner. So I want to finish that completely before working on this one because I'm already quite close. I have hit major pan. The highlighter is from the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible Deluxe Edition palette. But yeah, from this palette I will be randomizing from all other shades except the highlight shades this year in this project. Okay, so those were the rules of my Those Eyeshadows this year. Now we can get to the fun part. So let's randomize my 4 eyeshadows that I will be working on in this project. In this palette there are 20 eyeshadows that I have not yet hit pan on. So I do have numbers from 1 through 20 in my, what is this app called? Pretty Random. So let's randomize my first eyeshadow. It's number 8. I do have pan in pretty many shades in the top row, so I'm just going to skip those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's one of the more peachy shades, but it's still not like super peachy. But it totally, when I have used this in the past, it does have some peachy vibes to it. But I think it is a great shade to start with, really summery, and I am very sure that I can hit pan on this within the next 2 months or so. There's already a dip going on in the pan. Let's pick another shade. Number 2. 1, 2. This is maybe one of the more boring shades in the palette. This is like a medium brown, but it is quite cool toned, I think. I will say that the browns in this BH Cosmetics palette, they don't go too deep. So yeah, it is like a cooler toned medium brown. I mean, it's a nice eyeshadow. In this eyeshadow, the dip is not that deep, so it might take a little bit longer for me to hit pan on that, but I think it's totally doable. And now that I think about these eyeshadows and my Pan palette, I know that this one will go really well with the shade Antique Bronze. I am actually wearing Antique Bronze today on the outer half of my lid, and I think this will go so well with that eyeshadow. So yeah. Maybe it's like a little bit boring, especially like now in summer. Not something I'm that excited about, but you know, it's still not a difficult eyeshadow. And I'm actually pretty excited about this peachy neutral shade. Yeah, these are the shades that I will be working on from this palette. And both of those eyeshadows for sure are something that my goal next year when I will be panning this palette is to finish those completely off. So it's of course great if I can hit pan on those already this year, so my job next year is going to be a little bit easier. Then moving on to the Too Faced Chocolate Bar eyeshadow palette. So because I have already hit pan on one of the 16 shades and there's two that I don't want to work on, so the highlight shades, there are 13 eligible eyeshadows in this palette for this project. So I did change the number in my Pretty Random app to 1 through 13. So let's randomize the first eyeshadow from this palette. And it's the number 13. So it is going to be the last eyeshadow that is eligible. So it is the shade Cherry Cardle. Ooh, this one is really pretty shade. So here is the eyeshadow swatched. When I swatch it, it actually looks just kind of like a brown that has a little bit of red undertones to it maybe. But in the pan and actually when I use it on my eyes, it looks more like a burgundy eyeshadow and it's really beautiful. Not necessarily something that I would enjoy that much in the middle of summer. However, I'm sure this is something I can see myself working on a lot in the beginning of fall, in the end of the summer already maybe. So I think this is going to be an eyeshadow that I don't know if I'm going to use it that many times, like during the next month, but after that I think I can see myself working on this a lot and probably I can hit pan on this. I think this is a really beautiful shade. And then another shade from the Chocolate Bar palette that I will be working on is the number 13 again. So let's re-roll. 6. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have pan in marzipan, so 6 semi-sweet. Okay, I do have a nice dip going on here already. I will just show you a close-up picture of that. But I actually don't think that the pan is too far away. Now, this one is not the most exciting shade, but it is really useful shade. It is like a perfect gray shade for me. To more neutral looks, my swatch is like horrible. So there it is. It is like a neutral medium brown. So yeah, these are the colors that I will be working on right now. I don't know if I can hit pan on any of these shades by the next update, but I think I will be able to hit pan on the BH Cosmetics Peachy eyeshadow probably during the next couple of months. So by August update, I'm sure I can hit pan on that. I know my updates are probably not going to be the best if you compare them to many other people's projects, but that's because I'm working on so many eyeshadows already. But I just want to start making progress on these palettes because, as I said, I do want to make them my Panda palettes in the future. But that is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you in my next one. Bye bye.